So next we're going to go over the function of the flow control valve. This is the most important control on the machine and the one that you're going to use the most. It's also the one that you want to make sure that you use properly. So the flow control valve is this red handle right here. It basically diverts the water either to the hose when it's in the up position or back to the tank when it's in the down position. You always want the flow control in the down position whenever you're starting and stopping the engine. Down is always back to tank on any of our machines. This is actually a safety feature because it's much more intuitive if the hose comes out of the pipe or if a hose breaks or something happens to just reach and push it down as opposed to have to reach over and grab it and pull it up. So that's also a safety feature of the machine. When you're using the flow control valve, you want to do it in a quick, clean motion. It's also a good idea whenever you have a throttle control on your machine to bring the throttle up prior to, or bring your RPMs up prior to putting your flow control valve up, and then bring your speed down before you move your throttle down. Okay, so in sequence, right now I would have no pressure. Basically, I'm going to bring the throttle up into a high RPM. I'm going to lift this from one position to another quick and clean. That's going to give me a flow at my hose, pressure on my gauge. Next, when I need to go the other way and shut the flow off, I'm going to slowly reduce my throttle, bringing it almost all the way back down to an idle speed to reduce the water velocity in the valve. And then I'm going to push it quickly and cleanly all the way to the bottom. You don't want to use the flow control valve as a form of pressure adjustment. Operating it anywhere between the two positions can result in a premature failure of the valve. So the next feature we're going to go over is the pulsation control. On this model, as well as all of our models, the pulsation control is adjustable from a light vibration to a full strength pulse. When you're using pulse, the main reason it's equipped is for situations where you need to get further into a line, past beyond what it wants to pull into because of bends, restrictions, or what have you. Or also if you need to get unstuck. Your nozzle gets hooked around a corner on an offset and you need that shake to get unstuck. You don't want to use your pulsation control as a form of pressure adjustment, and you don't want to use it when it's not needed. Anytime you add vibration to a machine, you increase the wear and tear on that machine. Hoses, fittings, nuts and bolts, everything knows the machine is vibrating. So again, it's a feature that you only want to use when it's needed. To do the pulsation control, of course your engine's running, you're jetting, you're already in a line, which means your adjustment valve is, or your flow control valve is up. You're running at pressure, and let's say you're having trouble getting into a line. You can just crack that valve open slightly, and you'll start to get just a little bit of vibration on the line, which is going to release the friction or the drag between the hose and the inner wall of the pipe to allow that nozzle to pull the hose in farther. If you're stuck and you need a more aggressive pulsation, just continue to open the knob. Once you get about a full turn or turn and a half, you're going to be at maximum pulsation. The way you know that you're at maximum is if you continue to turn that valve counterclockwise and your gauge is staying steady and it's not falling anymore. You're at maximum pulsation. Opening the valve anymore isn't going to help. The gauge, when you're doing the pulsation, will drop to about 2,000 psi, maybe as low as 1,500, or you can keep it almost up at full pressure if you're just doing a light vibration. Okay, when you want to adjust the output pressure on the machine, there's two basic ways that you can do that on this unit, and you'll use different ways at different times. The easiest and simplest is just to control it with the throttle. As you slow the pump down, slow the engine down, your pressure is naturally going to drop. When you want to use the throttle for adjustment, you should be running a nozzle at the end of your main hose, not connected to a foot pedal or cart reel or any other device that can shut the water flow off at the end of the hose. Adjusting your pressure or running at less than full throttle may result in stalling of the engine if you do close a device at the end of the hose. Also, if you want to run it below 2,000, 2,500 psi, below that mark, that's when you should also use the pressure adjustment valve as opposed to the throttle. But from the 2,500 up to the 4,000, that's a good range to just go ahead and use the simple throttle as your pressure adjustment. When you need to make pressure adjustments using the pressure adjustment valve or the pressure regulator valve, that's located right here, this black knob next to your red control handle. Turning this knob, looking at it from the top, turning it counterclockwise will decrease your pressure. Turning it clockwise will increase your pressure. We don't want to increase the pressure or adjust this up if we're not seeing any reaction on our gauge. So let's say you're running 2,500 psi, but you've got a worn out nozzle. If you continue to crank this clockwise and your gauge is not increasing, what that means is you're just changing the pressure it's going to try to go to when you shut something off. Okay? Anytime you're running a shut-off device, start by dropping the machine, to about 3,500 psi, running at full throttle, making sure everything is working properly, and then adjust up from there as the engine will let you. The other thing for the best sensitivity is you always want your last motion on this valve to be counterclockwise or decreasing the pressure. So as you're bringing the pressure in the machine up to full or up to the point where you want to go, bring it up half a turn or so at a time, find your set pressure, and then back it off until you just see it drop just a touch. That way the sensitivity on your unloader is at its best and safest point. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to connect any of our accessories to your jetter in the field. This adapter here is our tool and accessory adapter. This comes with every jetter, whether you've purchased accessories or not. So hang on to this so in case you purchase something later, you have the proper fitting to go ahead and attach it. What this is it's a threaded swivel fitting on one end and a snap style quick coupler on the other end. You're going to start out by connecting this to the end of your jetting hose. Doesn't need any Teflon tape or sealer. Simply just need to thread it on, make sure it's snug. You want to make sure that the metal-to-metal seats in there are clean and they don't have sand, Teflon tape, anything on there that might cause them to leak. Once you have this attached to the end of your jetting hose, you can connect the jetting hose to any of our accessories, such as portable reels, pressure wash kits, or foot pedals, any of that kind of stuff that you might want to use. Simply by pulling the collar back, pushing it over the fitting, and then making sure that it's secure. All of our portable reels come with a ball valve flow control, so you don't need a foot pedal. You can simply use the ball valve handle here to control the flow, turning it on and off. If you do buy a foot pedal, you like to use a foot pedal, you simply just put it in between those two connections. You have a snap style quick coupler here. Our foot pedal kits come with the jumper hose that adapt from one style of fitting to another. The reason we use the two styles of fittings is that oftentimes our mini hoses, such as our little trap hoses and things for sink and laundry lines, will attach directly to this fitting, so you don't have to use any other kind of adapters or jumpers. This fitting also seals on an O-ring, so it doesn't need any Teflon tape or sealer. Just put it in, tighten it up by hand, making sure that the O-ring and everything is seated completely. And then attach the end of the jumper hose to the portable reel. Open the ball valve, and now you're controlled completely by the foot pedal control. Alright, so thanks for watching. Thanks for taking your time, investing your time in learning how to operate your machines correctly. We appreciate that. We appreciate your business. If you guys have any questions in the field, if anything comes up that we didn't cover in this video, we're a service-based company. We want you guys to call. We want you to get the answers that you need to feel confident in your operation of the equipment, and to make sure that your investment in Jetter's Northwest equipment does what it's supposed to do and pays off. Thank you again for watching. We appreciate it.